Hello everyone and welcome to the Flashback Anime Review. Why is it a flashback? Because we're flashing back and I am black. So, today is my long-awaited 10th review and I am super excited about it. And with it comes a slight change in my reviewing style, as if that's really tragic news or anything. Yeah, I guess you can kind of call this a test run or a preview of how my future reviews will be done, so I'll just briefly go over what's going to change. Basically, I'll be doing 2 reviews per series. The first will be an actual review where I give you the series, the plot, the pros, the cons, and my final verdict with slight commentary along the way. At most, these should be loading somewhere around the 25-minute mark. Like I said, at the absolute most. But there'll be pretty pictures for you to look at, although you'll still have to just listen to my voice for 25 minutes. So, that's that. The second video, though, will be what I normally do, where I just ramble on for about an hour at most, if I can, about how I really feel about the series, and because I just talk a lot, so that's why. And in keeping with the supernatural types of series I've been reviewing lately, today I'll be bringing you a review of a ghost story. Or a boy and his ghost story. Let's begin! Today we'll be looking at probably one of the greatest series we serialized in Shonen Jump, as well as one of my personal favorite series, Shaman King, written and illustrated by the great Mr. Takei. No, not that Takei, Hiroyuki Takei. This series was, as stated previously, serialized in Japan's weekly Shonen Jump between the years of 1998 and 2004, and, as per tradition with Shonen Jump series, it spawned a television anime of the same name that aired between July 4th, 2001 and September 25th, 2002. With 64 episodes. There are multiple songs attached to this series as well as a few video games, but for this, we'll just look at the manga while lightly touching on the anime. Shaman King tells the story of Yo Asakura, a young boy who comes from a long line of powerful shamans, people that act as a link between the physical and spiritual realms, capable of seeing, interacting with, and utilizing the powers of ghosts and spirits. Inherently lazy and carefree by nature, Yo has come to Tokyo in order to train and develop his powers, and ends up meeting Manta Oyamada, a much smaller boy that attends school with him and can also see ghosts. The two become friends very quickly. Not even 3 chapters in, Yo gains a spirit ally in the form of the ghost samurai Abitamaru. Yo's dream is become the Shaman King, and the main reason for coming all the way out to Tokyo is for the Shaman fight, a competition between shaman that occurs once every 500 years, in which the winner gains God, here referred to as King of Spirits, as their spirit ally, to fulfill their greatest desire while, in essence, ruling the world. In keeping with the shonen nature of the series, Yo is joined by a motley crew of other shamans, all of which are also trying to become the Shaman King. And along with his tsundere fiancée, the powerful badass Itako Anna, they band together to defeat Yo's twin brother and the reincarnation of the first Asakura, Hao, who longs to rule the world and eradicate all those who, in his eyes, are lesser beings. In addition to Hao, though, Yo and his friends also face a mysterious X-Boss, the group of shamans who banded together to face Hao but are willing to kill those who don't join them. Now, when it comes to Shaman King, I love the art for this series. Hiroyuki Takei has by far one of the best art styles I've seen in a shonen manga, as one of the few people I'd like to personally commission to do character designs for my own novels. In addition, when it comes to the anime, I like the vocal works connected to the series. Artists like Nana Mizuki, Megumi Hayashibara, Yui Horie, and Rupaku, lending their talents to not just the soundtrack but the characters as well. Now, I'll be honest and upfront about this now, I haven't watched all of Shaman King in Japanese. I've seen all of it in English multiple times, and while I'm not crazy about the dub, it's not too bad considering it's a 4Kids production. In fact, I'd go as far as to say it's one of the best dubs 4Kids has done, considering the nature of the series and how easily it could have turned out like One Piece. Now getting into the series itself, what can I really say about Shaman King? Well, early on I think Mr. Takei was kind of unsure of what kind of series he wanted to make. The first volume alone reflects this. Yo and Manta have several little adventures that really only serve to flesh out the characters until the first antagonist, Power N, comes to the picture. They move from shaman helping people and ghosts and trying to catch lost ghosts like Pokemon, to shonen action series where people use ghosts to beat the shit out of each other. Also, the artwork was, well, it's better than anything I could ever hope to do, but it does come off with a little sloppy when compared to the rest of the series. But that's art evolution for you, what can I say? Well, let's talk about the pros of the series. The characters, first of all, are all wonderful. Not a single character in the series is without use, and all contribute to the ongoing plot in some way, shape, or form. From the small and seemingly useless Manta, to the saint-like Iron Maiden, to the main villain Hao, and especially Yo, who's arguably the most rounded character of the series. Then again, he's the main character, but it's also possible to have a series without a rounded main character, so, take it as you like. Even my not-so-much favorite characters like Lyserk and Chocolove, known in America as Jocko, got some pretty good development and a chance to shine. The story is also wonderful, and it really shows you can have a tournament arc that spans roughly the entire story, just like how Bleach seems to have rescue arcs that span roughly the entire series. In regards to the anime, it's a fairly faithful adaptation for a while up until the first round ends, and the second round of the tournament actually starts. The music is also awesome, especially the first opening and the second ending called Omokage, which is awesome. And now for the flaws. The early artwork of the series might count as a flaw if you're nitpicky enough, and the portrayal of Chocolate McDonald as the only African-American character is a pretty glaring flaw when you consider that we also have Lyserg, who is British, Tao Ren and June, who are Chinese, and Horo Horo, who's the only Ainu that I've actually ever seen in the series, so Chocolate gets special treatment being the only black kid here. There's the cliche aspect of the villain's grand plan. Perhaps the length of the series overall that's really a problem for you, since some people can't seem to really get into series that go past 20 volumes or so. And then, of course, there's that manga ending. You remember how the first Inuyasha anime ended, right? That whole, oh, one day we'll defeat Naraku and restore the Jewel of the Four Souls to its proper form? Yeah, that's kind of bullshit Shaman King ended off on, too. Until Takei went back and redid it. But here in America, we basically get an analogy or comparison to Sleeping Beauty, of all things, I don't know why, with how, as the princess and Yo and his friends, the Five Elemental Warriors, as the prince is coming to wake him. Yo coming to wake his twin brother with... Yeah, let that fester in your minds for a couple of seconds. And, I was going to save the rest of this for the hour-long part, but I think I can find some other things to talk about this series. Like the importance of trust and friendship and the impact of humanity within the series. Yeah, I know I should probably really say that stuff later on when I, actually know what the hell I'm talking about, but as a reviewer, I think I'm entitled to point out things that I noticed in the series or review, right? Well, that's to you. Here I go anyways. So, first of all, trust and friendship. The same classic shit you see in every shonen action series. Protagonists in this band of trusted allies come together despite their differences to defeat the evil villain or whatever the hell the writer decides to do with that. In Shaman King, the main antagonist is the twin brother of our protagonist, but his friends don't automatically assume that he's evil. They kind of question him about it, but they still continue to see him as their friend, which is something I don't see much of in other shonen series. Usually the main character is an incarnation or a reincarnation of something or someone, and everyone assumes they're that thing or person. Not so in Shaman King. But then again, these bonds are typical in shonen series, so why the hell am I even bringing them up? Because in Shaman King, characters are haunted by their pasts, and in learning to trust each other and themselves, they are finally able to let go of that emotional baggage. Another thing I need to point out about this series is something that Yo says. If you hurt people, they'll hurt you back, which is said in the 21st volume, I believe. You're probably thinking, no shit, Sherlock, but here it has a very significant meaning, synonymous to do unto others as you would have done unto yourself, or whatever the hell the line is. It's the golden rule, basically. In Shaman King, not all of our main characters are squeaky clean kids. Ren, Ryu, Chocolove, or Jocko, and Lyserg all have paths that more or less come to bite them in the ass at some point during the series because of what they've done onto other people. They were negligent of the consequences of their actions, and despite becoming better people, they aren't exempt from being murdered as revenge. But once again, this ties in the whole trust and friendship thing, and even the humanity thing. First of all, regarding the trust and friendship aspect, the main characters that ally themselves with Yo have no fucks to give about each other's paths. They're curious, in some cases, and say you should have told us, but they acknowledge that this was your decision to tell us when you were ready to tell us. And they don't try to pry when they're not needed or wanted. They trust each other regardless of what one of them may or may not have done. In regards to friendship, it's the usual sacrificing each other for the sake of another person. But in one case, one of the main characters makes the ultimate sacrifice in order to revive one of the other characters. One can also make the case that friendship and trust is kind of what allows you to live through the series, as all but two of the ex-laws and many of Howe's men actually die, and they're not really friends with each other, are they? And now we get into that ever-gray area of humanity and the moral outlook of this series. Yay! Yeah, this series is not very pro-humanity at all. In fact, one of the most standout things about the series is the Shaman's disdain for humanity in general. Most are, at best, neutral in their views towards humanity and roughly don't even really bring it up, while others like Hal and Ren are far more outspoken about how they think humanity is but a disease that's spreading through the world at an alarming rate, and it's about time for Earth to be purged of these nasty, disgusting, worthless things called humans. And it's about time anyways. We destroy the forests and mountains without trash construction, we obscure and cloud the skies without pollution, and what's more, we've come to regard the supernatural as nothing more than myth and fantasy, and we'll present with proof that we do the logical thing and try to destroy it. Many of the shamans in the series were born to normal families that wanted little to do with them once their powers emerged, especially the Lily Fire from the anime. But like all series of this ilk, we have some semblance of optimism that Yo and his friends are fighting to stop Hal, because as shitty as we humans are, there's still a chance that we can change, and we're not all heartless, destructive asshats. This also plays into the morality of the series, and good God, there's lots of gray. The two most radical sides are Hal and the X-Laws. Hal is black, the X-Laws are white, while Yo and his friends are floating somewhere in the wider part of gray. But in dealing with the two extremes, you can probably easily switch them. Well, especially mainly with Hal's case. Hal, despite being a horrible person, is more or less a likable person with a sensible goal in mind. If he gets rid of humanity, the world will have more of a fighting chance in the long run and will be able to survive. Whatever others being still populate the world after he accomplishes his goals will be able to repopulate the world and return it to its more spiritual roots. The Axels, on the other hand, despite supposing to be standing for justice, are very much willing to kill those who get in their way. So, what can you really say about that? And even though at first they're not too apprehensive with Yo, after her identity as Hal's twin brother is revealed, Ashley knows roughly more before that, they make it very clear that he can either join them or die. At this point, they have to simply kill Yo, as he is one half the evil being that is Hal. Ashley can probably make a few religious parallels with Shaman King. You can see Hal as the devil, or Satan, or Lucifer, whatever the fuck you want to call him. The X-Laws are angels, and I'm being quite literal here. And Yo and his friends are something. One can even compare the Iron Maiden to a female version of Jesus, seeing as how she takes on all the suffering of the world onto herself. Mind you, this is just something that I noticed. You don't have to take what I'm saying to heart. Now, what else is there for me to talk about? Well, in regards to the content, Hiroyuki Takei seems to have done quite a bit of research in order to use all the different spiritual things the way he did. I say things for lack of a better word because I want to come off as someone who knows everything and I really don't know what other terms I would use. Back on track, sure, Takei used a lot of spiritual aspects native to Japan, like Shinto and Onmyodo, but he also delves into Ainu and Mexican and various other spiritualities in this series. This, however, strikes me as a bit strange considering he went through all the effort to do that research, not enough to give Chocolate a decent portrayal. I guess I should go over this a little bit. The character of Chocolate McDonald, or Jocko, is an African American, and was unfortunately designed with the blackface stereotype in both the anime and the Japanese version of the manga. In addition, his backstory includes being in an all-black gang and is commonly seen wearing African clothing. While I don't really have a problem with this, because let's face it, it's not really too big of a thing, I'm not going to pretend that there are people out there who won't take any offense to this portrayal of an African American character, especially when compared to the other non-Japanese shamans in the series. In Yo's group alone, we've got an Ainu, which is basically the Japanese equivalent to a Native American, a Chinese kid, a British kid, and a German. While Faust, Ren, and Horror do spout terms in German, Chinese, and the Ainu language respectively, the nationality doesn't seem to be their most standout characteristic. But this does kind of seem the case with Chocolate. Then again, he is black, so it's kind of hard not to notice him anyways. Overall, though, it's not like he's walking around talking mnemonics and rapping every other thing he says. Chocolate just made dad jokes and was a very well-developed character. I just don't want to see the whole blackface thing in future manga I end up reviewing. Then again, he's practically the only black character I've seen in the manga before reading Soul Eater. In addition, I have to thank Takei for not making the rest of his characters walk in race stereotypes. Ren and June weren't speaking in broken English, Lasek wasn't always drinking tea, and frankly I don't know enough about Ainu culture to know if Horror was portrayed well, but he didn't seem to be portrayed in a negative light at all. In conclusion, Shaman King is an excellent shonen series, crappy first ending aside. The characters are all well-rounded and developed, the art is superb, and the story, while old as dirt, is enjoyable to watch unfold. On my rating scale, Shaman King gets a 9 out of 10. Join me in my other review of this for a more long-winded look at the series, and probably going to be more of a long-winded look on the characters and what I thought of them. Shaman King is available from Viz Media. The anime was done by 4Kids through Viz, I think, and is probably near impossible to find in stores nowadays. But that's what YouTube's for. The manga ran for a total of 32 volumes and was then condensed into 26 volumes with an actual ending known as Shaman King Kang Zen Bang, which we will never be fortunate enough to see in America unless you have the internet. A sequel series called Shaman King Flowers is also available online and focuses on the adventures of Yo and Anna's son named Hana. And it's been around for roughly 3 months and it's still going today. This is your flashback, fading back to black.